How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Newegg TV. This is our 100th episode of Yolk'd.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
When you first did the first Yolk'd back in the day, Kyle, did you ever think that it would get to episode 100?
I did, but I didn't think it would ever get there.
You just contradicted yourself. But you did have plans, right? Like this whole thing's been, didn't you script out every episode from like when it first started?
I did. I've written every episode of Yolk'd ever. No, I can't take credit for that.
Okay.
Rachel actually did a lot of them.
Well, that's okay. But I mean, so what's in store for today, though? We must have something special planned for the 100th episode.
Oh yes, you're right. We do. It's going to be all of us doing a story.
It's like me, you, and Steve.
And Jenny and Steve.
Jenny?
Yeah. Instead,
all right.
Instead of just us doing a story.
That's very special. Let's roll that. Let's see how that works out. If internet rumors are to be believed, Nvidia is drawing closer to the launch of their next series of GPUs based on the Maxwell architecture. Although we have already seen the Maxwell-based GTX 750 and 750 Ti this year, most enthusiasts have been patiently awaiting the big dogs. And it appears that Nvidia is skipping the 800 series numeration to jump straight to the far superior group of digits available in the 900 to 999 range. Videocards.com has posted some initial synthetic benchmark numbers, purportedly for the new GTX 980 and GTX 970 GPUs. These charts show the GM204 powered 980 going toe-to-toe with and even beating the GTX 780 Ti. This depends on the clock speed, of course. Specs and speeds for these new cards are still unknown, although the GTX 980 is shown benched at up to 1190 MHz core clock. Videocards also speculates that the cards will feature 4 GB of GDDR5 memory clocked at 7 GHz on a 256-bit bus. The benchmarks are based on 3D Mark's Firestrike test, so real-world performance is still unknown. But I would also like to point out the GTX 970 beating out the GTX 780 and the GTX 980 SLI configuration coming within spitting distance of, but not quite beating, AMD's R9 295X2. There were also benchmarks for the mobile GTX 980M, but I don't care about that, so I'll assume that no one else does either.
What happens when you take two of the most powerful GPUs on the market, put them on one graphics card, and give them their own liquid cooling system? Answer: you get the Ares III. Asus's take on the limited-run graphics card market incorporates the same two Hawaii-based AMD GPUs that are on the R9 295X2, but instead of going with an air-cooled or hybrid cooling solution, they decided to go the extra mile with the Ares III. Each of these 500 graphics cards features a custom-made, handcrafted EK water block. And without the snaking tubes you'll see on the reference R9 295X2, the Ares III is actually so thin that it only takes up one PCIe slot. Lest we need to remind you, this card has 2 GPUs on it. Each have been handpicked and tested for each of the 500 cards, and they are powered by a 16-phase DigiPlus VRM circuit. Together they have 8 GB of GDDR5 memory clocked at 5 GHz over a dual 512-bit memory bus. The Ares III achieves a core GPU clock speed of 1030 MHz, just barely surpassing the reference clock of 1018 MHz. The star of the show is, of course, the custom water block, and if you manage to get an Ares III, you'll also get a free flash drive, a silver carrying case, and presumably a bodyguard to make sure no one gets any ideas.
Near-Field Communication, or NFC, lets two nearby devices share information and has already been used in devices like the Samsung Galaxy S5. It's implemented in commuter cards, print advertisements, and is continuing to appear on more smartphones. This makes the new uprising technology increasingly appealing, particularly when it comes to the concept of mobile payments. Some of us have gotten used to the idea of paying for groceries with our phones, but how do mobile payments fare in the face of theft and fraud? As it turns out, using NFC transactions is actually more secure than you might think due to what's known as the secure element, a chip or function in the cloud which possesses all the authorization protocols. The secure element is allegedly tamper-proof and uses an encrypted digital signal for protection against software and even hardware-based attacks. As it would be near impossible to obtain info off a stolen phone since the security mechanisms of the chip go above and beyond what a normal processor can achieve. Word is likely out already by now from the thousands of frantic journalists covering Apple's live event, but it will be interesting to see what secure element method they've included in their new phones, and if they'll prove to be effective against mobile attacks. What do you think about mobile payments? Do you think they offer foolproof security, or is it just another technology waiting to be hacked? Let us know in the comments.
You've seen how Oculus and Sony plan to take on the virtual reality industry, but both of these systems require that you stay plugged in and within grabbing distance should you decide that roller coaster simulator is just too real. Well, what if you could enter virtual reality while on the bus or on the plane? Oculus has been working with Samsung to incorporate a VR system that would work with the Galaxy Note 4. The phone's 5.7-inch Quad HD 1440p AMOLED screen would be the display, and the phone's CPU would be enough to power the system. The benefit, of course, of this mobile version would be due to its freedom. No longer tethered to a computer system, you're free to go where you want in both the virtual and physical realms. Of course, since the headset will run on the phone's battery, that begs the question of whether or not this mobile VR system is really that mobile. Will you have to carry a briefcase-sized lithium-ion battery in order to keep it running longer than 30 seconds?
And those are our Yolk'd stories for today. Very exciting. Thanks for playing the part of Jenny there briefly, Kyle.
Hey, no problem, Steve. Thank you very much for being Paul.
Anytime. That was fun. I feel like we could do more, though. I mean, it is the 100th episode.
I agree.
What else could we do?
You know, I think maybe, what if we do some, like, outtakes? Because people love outtakes, right?
I love outtakes.
Let's do some outtakes. How's it going, everybody? You're watching Newegg.
I love that show.
We have this new 24-inch 4K monitor from Dell.
Model number 24. Hey. For today's Take My Money, we have SteelSeries laser-guided missiles, I almost said. Sensei wireless. Say wireless.
We sell missiles? Marketplace is really expanding.
Body right. Back streets back. All right.
Gotta flow organically.
You look like you're vomiting.
Flow.
Projectile vomiting.
That's what I was trying
That's
to.
the flow?
This.
Okay.
We're vomiting as much as possible.
I could flow like that.
But that is all for this episode of Yolk'd, everyone. And what we would like you guys to do is let us know. Let's say we do another 100 episodes. What would you like to see? Are there things we could do better? Are there things we need to do worse because we already do too good a job of them? Let us know in the comment section down below. We will read them all, and we will take them very, very seriously.
Totally. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Paul.
With Newegg TV, and you've just been yoked. But instead of going with an air-cooled or hybrid cooling solution, they decided to go the extra mile with the Ares III. Each of these 500...
Have you been drinking?
No!